Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. What's up, K-Soul and Golf Professor? Golf Professor, are you based in Texas? You don't have to share if you don't want to. But I was just talking to I just remember I was talking to one of my locals, and he faced you and lost to you at the Sacramento Regional, and he's like, "Man, this guy's really good." I was like, feel like I've seen a Golf Professor in my streams before, but I'm not sure if it's the same Golf Professor or not. Anyway. I will do a tier list. I'm just gonna do a few battles real quick as people are coming into the stream. But I do have a tier list. Turn up this lighting a little bit. It's like almost too bright. There. That's probably better. I don't know. I feel like it's like just like a glare on my glasses or what. Anyway. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Unova Tour, Global Unova Tour weekend. Get yourselves a Kiro black and white if you can. Particularly the black, because it's pretty nutty. If you haven't seen my last YouTube video, you should take a look and see why you should rate it. But I'm not even good at Master League, and it was kind of cooking. Speaking of Master League, I am not finding battles in Master League Premier, so maybe I shouldn't do too many battles. We'll see. I'll do like a game or two and see how it goes. Maybe I should just play Great League. Maybe that's the play. Might just do that. Alright, let's do that real quick. This might be too hard to find a battle in Master League Premier. Alright, what was it? Oh, Diggersby. Yeah. I'm sure we'll find something doing this. I'm just killing a little bit of time, and then we'll get straight into the tier list, because it's going to be a lot to discuss on the tier list. Update was pretty big. If you haven't seen it yourself, here, let me paste it in the chat so you can see it. But definitely recommend taking a look at it. Oops. Yeah. Quite a bit of changes. Never thought Grumpig would see its day, but Grumpig is here. It might be here to stay for a while, unless they do any crazy nerfs down the road. 5. Okay, they throw. Nice. Alright, we're just gonna swap over right now. I'm technically like weak to this in the back with the Digger Speed, but I just need to draw any potential Annihilate if I can. I have a Swift Bang too. Ooh, okay. I'm just gonna throw this right away because I want to give as little farm as possible. It's double charm or something? Weird. Yeah, but there's no reason for me to like try to charge up because I don't want to give him too much energy, like I said. I'm just going. It's not ideal. I guess I shield. I don't know. If they come in Dugong, I kind of need this. The Primate is a little bit unfortunate, though. Or the Wigglytuff into the Primate. Doesn't really help my Digger Speed too much, either. I think they're at 3, which means they're 1 away from the next. Which is not good for me. Oh, they shield. Okay. I pretty much have to shield this. I don't know if they shield or not. Kind of need to swap out here. I kind of hope they shield, because I could just go straight Scorching Sand. Okay. Okay. We just have to go Scorching Sand, hope for a debuff, I guess, at this point. Oh, this is non-shadow. This is actually not a terrible matchup for me. But they have a shield. That's the problem. It's non-shadow, so the Scorching Sand actually doesn't do that much. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. What's up, Neon? Welcome in. I'm just doing a few battles before I start tier list for anyone that's joining. I'm just waiting for some people to come in. I will post like the VOD on, or like an edited version of this on YouTube as well. All right, if there's They might just go for the ice shard down. Okay, they actually don't. Oh, we catch. It's something. The scammer? Yeah. It's apparently a pretty popular scam, unfortunately, these days. Alright, this is not good. I don't know if I took the ice shard damage or not. I might not have because they swapped in. Okay. Oh my, oh no! It was so close. It's a turn off. I almost pulled that off. With a Wiggly into a Primeape. That's not easy. Yeah, it was close. Yeah. Yeah, the hacker was something else. It's funny because I was recently contacted with another type of similar kind of deal, but I like triple checked this time. I checked their email. They actually are verified on Google, which is interesting. Added another layer of security. And this one, like, it's not really a sponsorship gig. It's a hair product I use like right now. It's called Suavecito. I guess like I sent in a video to like model for them like years ago, and it just never happened. And they never got back to me, but they just randomly messaged me like 3 years down the road, which is kind of wild to me. Okay, I'm just going to no shield here because this Corsa has nowhere to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they have the double shield. The problem is they have like a Digger Speed counter in the back, I feel like. Okay. It's kind of awkward. They're going to try to flip switch, which is fine, honestly, for me. We'll let it go. 2 shield Diggersby is going to be interesting. They don't have a Nihilape in the back, right? Because they wouldn't have swapped out so quickly and fall for switch. They have something that beats fairies in the back, I guess. Okay. Get this off. I don't think it is KOs. Do I spend a shield here? I think I just save both shields for Diggersby. No? It's really awkward. I'll save 1 shield, I guess, on the off chance. All right, let's do this. I have an energy lead. There's no way they come in Corsola here. Ooh, okay. This makes sense. We desync by a turn? Yeah, prepare for next turn, yeah. Yeah, I was just like, I just had like a sense of dread, right? Because it's like, it's not just my Gmail, it's my YouTube channel. It's like all my, like, the email I used to log into so many things. And just like, it just made things really difficult, unfortunately. Yeah. It's just like, it's crazy how easy it is to get hacked because I have two-factor authentication. And then the other aspect of it is just like so much of your stuff is tied to email and Gmail and stuff these days. Okay. This is pretty rough, not going to lie. I wish I had another shields for my Diggersby, but okay. It's actually not terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I don't think I ever swap out, though. I think I probably should. If I save 2 shields for Diggersby, I just win, right? But oh, it's really rough. If I got a debuff here, it might have been decent. That's how many Power Gem takes this out. It might. Man, why is this thing so bulky? I'm so glad this thing's getting a nerf next season. I haven't even used it yet because I don't have one built. Oh, wait. I think we're fine. Oh, my gosh. This thing's so stupid. All right. I should have, I definitely should have just not shielded my Wigglytuff. Going for two shields there, but, Santosh. What's up? You want me to trade you a shiny Mewtwo? How are you going? How am I going to trade you a shiny Mewtwo? How about this? Tell me exactly where you live, and we'll figure something out. Otherwise, how am I going to trade it? There's no global trading in this game. I don't know if you're new to Pokemon Go or you thought that was VGC or something, but I don't know. You want it to be sent to your Pokemon home? Because I do have a lot of shiny Mewtwo. What are you trading me? That's a better question, right? You can't just ask for a trade and not offer anything, right? What are you trading in return? Oh, I know. Oh, I figured that. But I'm not just going about it. I already doxed myself with my actual name. I'm not about to do more. Okay. I don't think they go Earth Power. And if they do, I'm just going to swap out anyway. Okay, Body Slam. That's fine. What the heck? They frozen? Weird. Santos, you gotta come back, man. We got people wondering what's going on. You gotta provide the D's or what? One, two. Okay, I survived this. I just didn't want to debuff myself early. Whoa. Let me do that. I feel like it's like a... Ooh, that was really risky, but I got it off. Maximize my damage here. This is bigger than season 20, it feels like. What season are we on right now? Oh my gosh. We're getting a lot of value here. What the heck? Okay, we just charmed this down, I guess. They have one Pokemon left. I mean, they definitely lagged at one point there. Ah, this game's over. All right, let's get into update after this. There's no way this guy wins the match, so I think they just... Yeah, they're going to quit once they see this Diggersby. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's get into this. Okay. We have our tier list. All right. So, just unplug my phone real quick. Gotta unplug it before Santos finds where I live, you know? Like, I'm a friendly guy, but I ain't ready for an open house tour. Okay. Let's talk about this season. There's going to be a lot that goes into this. So, first and foremost, this is season 22. So, it's weird, right? So, on a number-wise, in Trinity, it's weird because at one point, Niantic completely reset the numbers. Like, they not reset it, but they, like, changed it, right? Because the actual number, like, what number the season is not the same number that Niantic has it as. It's like, I think whatever season Niantic has it as is, like, 2 or 3 seasons behind the actual number of seasons. That being said, we're just gonna call this the Might and Mastery season because that's what Niantic calls it. And this tier list is first and foremost going to be just focused on Great League. I will make one for Ultra League and maybe Master League. I don't know. Master League is not as many people play it, but Ultra League things definitely get shook up quite a bit, so that could be an interesting one. And I know a lot more people play Ultra League than Master League. And then the other key thing to note is that this is a pre-patch tier list. What that means is that this is based on the information we know, but it doesn't necessarily mean that things won't be subject to change, because we had to kind of predict like some of the energy values, because Niantic doesn't ever disclose energy values. They only disclose like if it costs more or less, but they'll disclose the damage values. So some of the damage values, if it's just pure damage, are accurate, but essentially, if they don't disclose all the energy values, none of the rankings are fully accurate, because even let's say if they disclose all the damage values for foul play, for example, which, I mean, they change the energy, but I'm just giving you a random example, right? I'm not saying this is what happened. Let's say if they say foul play got buffed by 5 damage. Yes, then we could calculate how that would affect the rankings. But the problem is the rankings also take into account of all the energy values. So even if foul play's energy value didn't change, if they change their energy values to body slam, that could potentially change where Sableye falls in the meta on the rankings, because Gastrodon might be higher or lower than it, right? But that really depends on the energy value of body slam that they change. Anyway, yeah, you're just in time, Cola. So that being said, this is a pre-patch tier list for Great League. After the patch comes out, if there's no significant changes, then I probably won't make a new tier list. But if there are, maybe I will make a new one, just to reiterate that. So, but anyway, that's my general thought process for this. So, a few things to note. We're just going to talk about the actual changes to any moves, and then we'll talk about the affected Pokemon, as well as the current meta Pokemon. I didn't put every single Pokemon on here, because something like Greninja, for example, didn't get changed. But it's like kind of meta, like fringe meta at best in Great League. So, I will still rank it, because we'll just see how it falls, right? Azumarill didn't get touched at all, which, you know, some people probably wish that it got nerfed, but it didn't. Again, it didn't get buffed, it didn't get nerfed. But I'm sure you're curious to see how I would place it in the tier list compared to something like a Grumpig that did get buffed. So attack changes. Let's go there. Oh yeah, Claydol is in here, and Claydol actually, yo, that thing's been hot garbage for a while, but it's actually making its way downtown, if you know what I'm saying. All right, so a few attack changes. Psyshock energy cost is decreased. Again, we don't know what these energy values are, so until the new season starts, we won't have a full good idea, but we can estimate. And by we, I mean smarter people than me, like PvPoke, who has already created a great rankings preview for next season. So I'm not estimating these values myself, because I have no idea, but other people are, and usually they're like fairly on point, but once in a while we're surprised by some of the changes. Like I think Steel Wing, when they buffed Steel Wing for Skarmory, was like a huge one. People didn't expect Skarmory to be that good until the actual energy values came out. You know, people were like, there's no way they'll make it this good, and they did. Dazzling Gleam, it is losing 20 damage, but the energy cost is decreased. This might not be a bad thing, right? Because Dazzling Gleam has already been like a not very efficient move compared to other fairy moves. But it's hard to say if it's a bad thing or good thing. My personal prediction is that this is a slight buff to Dazzling Gleam, because it's already not a great move. People aren't using it, right? It does, I think, the same exact damage as Moonblast. And Altari learns both, for example. But it costs more energy. This is speaking right now. It costs more energy, and it doesn't have a chance to debuff your opponent's attack. Whereas Moonblast costs less energy and has a chance to debuff your opponent's attack, and it does the same damage. So when it comes to charge attack fairy moves, Dazzling Gleam just makes no sense in my opinion, right? Like in my opinion, there shouldn't be the same kind of move of the same type, and it's just a straight downgrade across the board. It's more costly. It doesn't have any debuff buff chances, and it just stays even on damage. It makes no sense to me. So my guess is that they're probably not be able to make this any worse than it is. I mean, it's possible they could, but I think this is going to be a slight buff. Now you can have 1,000 miles in your head all stream. Yeah, I play it, but I get DMCA'd, so I get in trouble for that. So unfortunately, I can't. But hey, start playing your head, so maybe that's fine. Aqua Jet is getting a sizable buff, actually, from 45 damage to 70 damage. That's actually kind of nuts. That's pretty nuts. That's almost double its damage. And its energy cost is getting decreased. So, yeah. How many things learn Aqua Jet? Not a lot, but it could be interesting. Dynamic Punch, energy cost is decreased, so that's definitely a buff for sure. I'm just like Aqua Jet is a buff. Sludge increased by 20 damage, so we know just no energy changes, so that is a straight buff. Hex gets 1 extra damage, and its energy generation increases, so that's also a straight buff. We don't know by how much energy, but it is increasing. Acrobatics, energy cost is decreasing, so that's definitely a straight buff as well. Again, we don't know the energy values. Air Cutter goes down 15 damage, which I don't even know how, like, I haven't even really seen anything use Air Cutter in general, so I don't even know. Maybe on day 1 GBL you see it once in a while. Energy cost is decreased. Chance to increase the user's attack by 1 stage. We don't know the percentage chance, we don't know the energy. But my guess is this would be kind of a buff. Kind of like Dazzling Gleam, my rationale is that it's not relevant right now, so like why would they nerf it? If anything, it's going to be a buff Maybe a big one, but my guess is maybe a small one to make it more usable. Dusknoir, Diamond Punch makes me happy. Yeah, Shadow Dust and Shadow Golurk. Yeah, no. Those are going to be interesting ones for sure. Rock Tomb is gaining 10 damage. Energy cost is decreasing. And you're guaranteed to lower the opposing Pokemon's attack by 1 stage. That last part has already been set like that, but I think just re-emphasizing that hasn't changed. But this is a straight up buff for Rock Tomb for sure, which is going to be interesting. Rollouts is getting nerfed. It's doing 1 less damage. For those that hate rollout users, then you can rejoice. Nightshade is decreasing in 10 damage. This is probably more so... This is definitely a targeted nerf to Galarian Corsola, because not much else really learns Nightshade that's relevant. Foul Play is losing 10 damage, but the energy cost is decreased. My guess is that this is either... This is going to be a buff, or like a side grade, in the sense that, let's say if it's the same energy efficiency, right? Still same damage per energy. Ooh, my cat's on the cat tree. Say hello to Chaggy. She doesn't go up here very often these days. I don't know why. She's in her moods, but she's up there now. Foul Play probably is going to be a buff, is my guess. But it's possible it's a side grade, right? Let's say it's like same energy efficiency. In my opinion, that's still buff. Why? Because anytime a move is faster to pace to, it's always better, right? Like, yeah, certain moves hit really hard, right? For example, Draco Meteor. Fantastic move for damage energy efficiency, but it takes forever to get to. So it's just like, it's like way less reliable than a Dragon Claw, for example. That's less energy efficient, but it's just more reliable, more spammy, right? So if it's even a side grade, it's still going to be a buff in my opinion. Discharge goes down in damage by 10 damage, and energy cost decrease. This might also be a side grade situation like Foul Play. What this means is that anyone that's using Discharge is probably going to pace to it much faster. It's going to be spammier, and it's probably going to have a lot more dynamic play to it, and it's probably just going to be better in general for PvP. So, like a Molga, for example, would probably really enjoy that, because it already has Thunder Shock. Worse in 0 shields, but better in 1 shield and 2 shield situations. You talking about for spammier moves? That is definitely true too, yeah. And most of the time, you're not in 0 shield situations, right? So, like, how easy is it to get to a Draco Meteor when your opponents have 0 shields? The amount of situations that happens is pretty rare, right? Obviously, it happens more so in Master League, because there's not a lot of things even use Draco Meteor outside of that, but that is just my thoughts on it. All right, so a few attack updates. I'll just honestly add them to my list. Actually, I'm trying to think. How do I want to do this? Yeah, I'll just start with the tier list, actually, with these specific Pokemon, and then we'll go from there. So, Piloswine and Mamoswine gets Icicle Sphere, so I have both of them on my list here. This is Great League, right? Let's keep that in mind. This is Open Great League, not like exclusive cups like Holiday Cup or something like that. I don't think this is actually really good. Mamoswine as well, I don't love. I think it's actually even worse than Piloswine, so I'll put it at hot garbage. It's just way more frail. The thing is, you have Dugong ready, and Dugong ready has ice ground coverage, and they're both, all three of them are weak to fighting, but Dugong's way bulkier, and it just has a deep guaranteed debuff. Yeah, Icicle Sphere is nice and stuff, but the problem is, Walrein already had Icicle Sphere Powder Snow. It already had a ground move as coverage. If it's not that reliable, Walrein isn't, then what would make these two reliable, right? Even with Icicle Sphere. So that's my thoughts on that one. Togetic, Togekiss, Reuniclus? I don't know how to pronounce this thing. Reuniclus. I don't know. Bruxish, Venomoth. And Bruxish, sorry. So Togetic, Togekiss, Reuniclus, and Bruxish all get Psyshock. It might be something in Master Premier, but yeah. So this one's just going to be for Great League, but definitely for Master League Premier, that's going to make a huge impact, right? In my opinion. Might not be top meta, but it's definitely going to be a lot better. But yeah, for Great League purposes, like, what's the last time you see a Mamoswine in general, right? I don't think I've ever seen one. Maybe once in GBO, but that's about it. All right, so Togetic gets Psyshock. Psyshock did get his energy cost decreased. We don't know by how much. Obviously, it's going to be a buff. I actually think Togetic could be pretty interesting. Obviously, these are predictions. So, like, the new season rankings has Togetic tick at pretty high, right? It's actually ranked 18th overall. Psyshock, Fairy Wind, Dazzle Gleam. And Dazzle Gleam is also getting a slight buff. We don't know by how much. The Togetic is actually kind of a mystery because both of his moves that got changed, we don't know exactly how much they got changed by, but they both seem like buffs to me. And because there's a lot of dark types impending in this meta as well, and Togetic is actually pretty bulky, I am actually... Where is Togetic? Do I not have it? I see... Oh, here it is. I see Togekiss. I think it'll be meta for sure. I don't know if it'll be top meta, but I think it'll be meta. I don't think the predictions are that off. I don't think 18 is that wild replacement. But yeah. Togekiss, a little bit less reliable, I think, but it does have charm. So I think I'll put it here for now. It's not great. It's really not great. It doesn't have the same typing. I probably put it at really bottom fringe meta. Like, I'm almost tempted to put it at bad. I don't think it's even bad. It's just that there's better fairies. There's better fairies than the better flyers. So that's probably why you'll never see it. Even if it's not bad, it's just not good enough compared to the other options. Togekiss still can't fight back in steals, it seems. Yeah. The thing is, there's not a lot of steel types in this meta. It's like a Alolan Sandslash and that's it, right? Registeel, a little bit. Steelix, a little bit, but not a ton either. It's really just a Alolan Sandslash mostly, right? So, and I don't know. For fair purposes, I think that's why Zoomer's so strong, right? Because there's not a lot that just resist this moveset. Reunculus? I don't know how to pronounce this thing. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be bad. I think it's worse than Piloswine. That's just my take on it. Part of me hopes it's bad, so I never had to pronounce it on an official broadcast because I still don't know how to pronounce it. And I just don't think it's going to be that particularly good because the rest of the movesets aren't really that relevant. Nor is it... I don't think it's that bulky, but I could be mistaken. Bruxish is not good. It's definitely bad. I think obviously in like Love Cup or some specific cup it could be good, but in just regular cups, nah. Reunculus? I don't know. I'm just based off a Silicatongue's pronunciation there, but I don't even know how to pronounce that pronunciation. All right, and then the next set of Pokemon are learning Psywave. No, I appreciate you. All right, Venomoth, Lapras, and Grumpig are all learning Psywave. Psywave is already a pretty good move, and the fact that all three of these are getting it is going to be pretty interesting. Let's start with Venomoth. I don't think Venomoth's going to be that relevant, just because, yeah, I mean, it's just going to be like more of a fringe pick in general. I'll put it like here, maybe. Yeah, I'll put it here. Limited metas for sure, but Open Great League, no shot. No shot. Lapras, this is going to be an interesting one. So, let's just do a comparison of Lapras right now. Lapras currently is 242 in the rankings, non-Shadow. Shadow's 345. Lapras in the new season prediction is ranked 3. That's crazy. It's ranked 3 with Sparkling Aria, which we have the damage values for, and Ice Beam, which we have damage values for. So Lapras, yes, the other Pokemon, it's unknown how much they're getting buffed by. This Lapras ranking is pretty true, I think, to it's going to be its end ranking after the patch. Yeah, other things can push it around a little bit, but we know all the damage values and energy generation values on all three of these moves. So I think it's going to be pretty busted. That being said, I mean, especially if this thing has, like, Skull Bash, it definitely beats Azumarill. I don't know. There might be a shot it beats Azumarill without it, just to get Sideway damage, but I'm actually not even sure. But Lapras definitely could be interesting. Also walls off the standard moveset of Feraligatr, which helps quite a bit. So, yeah. I mean, key wins it picks up. It beats Drapion, Shao Drapion, Diggersby, Clodsire, Feraligatr, Shao Feraligatr, and Azumarill. With the Ice Beam Sparkling Aria moveset, actually, which is kind of crazy. Let me see, how does it do that? Wow, it wins all even shields with just Psywave and Sparkling Aria. That's kind of crazy. Do you even bait? Yeah, even if the Zermo baits you. Well, actually, they weren't going for baits, but that's like a small difference. Yeah, that's kind of nutty. So that's definitely a really good change for sure for Lapras and just the meta in general. It'll be interesting. Grumpig will be able to learn the fast like Psywave. This is a wild one too. I didn't think it would be this good, and we're talking about just Great League and Ultra League. It looks even nuttier. So Grumpig right now, 900 962 in the rankings. Shadow's 982. You know how crazy it is to see it go from the high 900s in rankings to 7th overall on the non-shadow and 39 on the shadow? That's actually insane. That is like the biggest glow up I've ever seen between from like pre-patch, like previous season to next season. I don't think I've ever seen anything become that relevant like instantly, just because it got Sidewave. I mean, it already has access to Dynamic Punch and Shadow Ball, and Dynamic Punch did get a buff, so that probably does change it a little bit as well. But it already had that move, you know. It wasn't a new move for it. Wait, actually, did it? Maybe they did add it. Did they? No. Yeah, they already had it move. Oh no, it did get Dynamic Punch too. It was added this patch. Okay, so two changes. But either way, I've never seen a change like that be so big. Yeah. Its stat driver is pretty good. Yeah, it is. Which is why, like, for Ultra League, you kind of need a lot of XLs to make it. But it is pretty bulky. Let's see, actually, a bulk comparison, if you're curious. So, let's see against a Zumro. Let's say against a Zumro and a Lapras. Because Lapras is less bulky than Zumro, but a Zumro is probably like kind of like a gold standard everyone knows about, right? In terms of bulk. So, if you compare rank 1 to rank 1, it has obviously more attack than Zumro. It has pretty much the same exact defense. It just has about like 60 less HP. It has a little less defense too. So definitely not as bulky as Zumro, but that's probably for the best, honestly. Compared to a Lapras, it's probably a lot more comparable. It's still less bulky than Lapras. Yeah, a lot less HP, a little more defense though. So, but yeah, it's a Zumro with like 60 less HP, which again, you're probably going to be grateful for, given how good this is. This is going to be pretty nuts. It has Shadow Ball, it has Dynamic Punch, and it has Sidewave. So it generates energy really quickly, and it is a pure Psychic type. So it's weak to Bug, Dark, and Ghost. And there's not a lot of Bug types. I don't even know where Ariados went, honestly. What happened to Ariados? I don't even have it on my list. I probably should, but I don't even know what happened to it on the rankings. Let's see. It's 154. Yeah, it dropped quite a bit. Okay, anyway, that's besides the point. Grumpig, though, had the glow up of the freaking century. Let's put it right here for now. Let me think. I don't think it's as good as Lapras, but I think it's going to be top meta for sure. I think it could be really, really good. So that's an interesting one for sure. Furret and Lanoon both get Swift. These are okay. So it's not the best move, right? It gives a slight bait move, but like, what are you going to bait with? Swift just to land a Hyper Beam? Like, just run a bunch of stab, neutral to resisted normal damage? I don't think it's good. I'll put it like here. No, I'll put it here, actually. Maybe this? I don't know. It's not good. It's definitely not good. Lanoon, similar situation. I think Lanoon at least has better coverage, but it's not great either. Put it here for now. Yeah, I mean, this again. Lanoon's the good thing about Lanoon is you have Thunder and Grass Knot, I think. One of the Grass moves, Energy Ball. I don't know. Anyway, you have really good coverage, right? When you add on Swift to it, it loses some of the coverage. If you get 3 charge moves, maybe a different story. But yeah, Lanoon, not the best. Drampa also gets Swift, and Drampa is just again in Open Great League, it's not it. It has interesting typing, but it's not it. We'll put this in bad tier as well. Maybe here. It has like superior typing to Furret, I guess. This Brush just no, I think Brush is fine. It's way too frail to do anything. All right, and then Grumpig, like I said, also gets Dynamic Punch. Dusknoir gets Dynamic Punch as well. That's going to be interesting, too, because they did buff Hex, but I think they're probably going to run Astonish anyway. I don't think it's going to be really relevant. There's a lot of Dark types in this upcoming meta, too. But Dusknoir, especially in Great League, not the best. Yeah, let's put it right here. All these things can be probably interchangeable, honestly, but... and then Lapras also gets Sparking Aria, which we mentioned earlier. And then Sableye gets Dazzling Gleam, which is interesting. Gives it some coverage. I already know, because Shadow Bennett has, or Bennett in general, has Dazzling Gleam. And I remember I've hit like an Umbreon with it. it didn't do as much as you think it would. Like, and the problem is, like, it doesn't put it in a Shadow Call range. So even if you land it on a Dark type, it's like, if it's like a bulky Dark type, like Umbreon Mandibuzz, you can't really Shadow Call it down. If it's like a, you know, if it's like, what do you call it? Like a Drapion, even though that's not super effective damage, it's probably like, it's way more frail, right? Especially a Shadow one. You can probably land a Shadow Call down that. But at that point, you might as well, like, Power Gem's also neutral damage there, right? So I don't think the Dazzling Gleam is going to change much, but they did, like I said, probably buff Foul Play, and that's what I think makes Sableye more relevant. And because of that, I think its pacing could be really interesting. I will say that. I'm going to put it here for now. I don't know if it makes it to the S tier because there's still a lot of other Dark types, and Azumarill is, like, not going anywhere. So there's that. Rabombi. Fast Attack Charm. I mean, this is, like, definitely a Little Cup thing, so we're going to put it Hot Garbage. It's not really deserved of Hot Garbage just because I don't think it was meant for Great League, but yeah, that's it's not good. Blastoise gets Rollout. So does Weezing, Wailmer, and Wailord. Alright, one of these things are good. The other three, I don't know. But this is going to be an interesting one. It gives us some way to, like, kind of hit back a little bit. Before I place this here, I'll just take a look at the rankings to see what it's even looking like right now. In the upcoming season is 47, which is like, it's okay. But Rollout did get a nerf too. It beats Azumarill with Skull Bash, but it was kind of a good matchup anyway to begin with there. You could beat Diggersby, but I mean that's about it. It's like a Beeproll, I think, right? So if you look at Beeproll, it's now gone down to 275 for the Shadow and 342 for the non-Shadow. It's got the same coverage. It's got Water and Normal and Rock Fast Attack. It's a better Beeproll because Hydrocan is just much better and Blast is just a lot more bulky. And it doesn't have the weakness to fighting. So there's that. I mean, normal typing is nice too, but being weak to fighting is not great. Maybe the ranking is higher with Ice Beam. Possibly. So the reason why the ranking is probably really high in general is because Skull Bash gives it a way to beat Azumarill. So without the Skull Bash, it may also drop in ranking because it doesn't really beat the other water types, right? Lapras, number 3 on the rankings, right? Without, I mean, you do have super effective Rollout, but without Skull Bash, it's a little bit dicier. I do think it's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be really good. I think it could be like a meta pick, though. A good, like, alternative to, like, for Alligator, for example. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Taylor Smith? Oh, yes, I remember. Because I remember I didn't see the name either time. But I just remember because I think we played, for me, it was, I played you twice in the same exact set, which is even funnier. And I know you beat me in the second time. I'm pretty sure you beat me in the first one. The first one was a lot closer. But I just remember, I was like, what are the chances 2 people run the same exact Baxcalibur team in the same elo range? There's no way, right? It's the first time I ever faced a Baxcalibur to begin with. But, yeah, those are fun games. I do appreciate the spice. I think also, like, I don't know if P-Poke has the premier rankings or not, but the first few days of Massive Premier was pretty interesting because the rankings weren't even out. So people were just running stuff that's, like, a little bit weirder. Weezing, nah. I don't think it's not good. Rollout's okay, but I don't think it really helps it too much. Again, I don't know. Do we put in Fringe meta? It has Sludge, right? The problem is, like, it's not that it's, like, even, like, unusable. It's that there's just better things than it. Yeah, it's pretty bad, actually. Oh, no, it has Sludge Bomb. It doesn't even have Sludge. Oh, yeah, no, definitely not. This is just bad. Put it here, maybe? Yeah, put it there. It's not good. And then we got Wailmer, Wailord. I know my podcast co-host and fellow content creator, PvP Steve, would say this makes Wailord really good, but I think because of that, I'm going to put it even worse. I'm going to throw it in the very end. I think Rabombe even has more of a chance. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't. But I'm still putting it in the end because I don't want to encourage anyone to explore down this route. It does have interesting coverage with Body Slam and stuff, but I'm not even going to entertain it. You know what? I'll throw Wailord up above this, though. Let's do this. Yeah. I walked 1,200 kilometers for that thing. Oh, I'm not even close on it. I think I might have a hundo. I'm not sure though, but I definitely don't have enough XLs. Yeah, no, that's no. Honestly, Yeah, the queue times are rough. That's why like you're the last person I've battled actually in Master League Premier because I couldn't find a single battle after, and I went negative that set and I still couldn't find any. So I'm not itching to rematch again for like a third time, but because we know how that'll probably go. But yeah, just in general too. Not that I'm afraid to face you again. It's just you can't find any battles. I was watching like TV and just like I think I watched like 2 episodes of a 1-hour show before I finished like 2 sets. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, no, I like it a lot actually. It was just like it was just something to draw out the water types so that I could lock my Hydreigon onto it. Like I was just trying to think what can draw out like a Gyarados, a waterfall Gyarados without and I could still like potentially grab shields or do damage with it. I've been able to flip switch against a few things, which is kind of nice too. I like it a lot though. It's also like a semi soft check to Rhyperior, which is kind of interesting too, because they go into a breaking swipe, they went to a rock wrecker, right? But it's interesting. It definitely does have the best stat product, but it's enough to scare off any dragons, right? Like any dragon leads, maybe not Baxcalibur, but like a Dragonite would not stay in if I say swap it, right? They can't like chip and dip me. Well, I mean, they could try, but it's not worth usually. Yeah, it's interesting. I was really trying to make Hydreigon work, and that ended up being a good one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what happened the first time around. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, because a lot of people don't shield that, even though I had to shield the potential disarming voice every time first. Non-stab, though, is definitely not as much damage, but it's still a decent amount to, like, potentially flip a lot of fairies. Anyway, okay, so one other Pokemon that got rollout is Glalie. Again, not really great. A lot of these I just really have no idea where to even put them. Put it here for now. It has interesting coverage, but there's just better ice types, you know. Credilli gets Rock Tomb. That's an interesting one as well. I don't think it actually becomes super meta relevant, but maybe like a fringe meta pick. It's not that it's like bad, it's just that there's just better grass types. It's better grass types, and yeah. And this one's just weak to fighting, which is not great. You know what? I will give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll make it better than Togekiss for sure. Yeah, Blastoise should be a good one. So oh yeah, no, for sure. I was wondering that too. Yeah, without crunch, like you just get walled, right? It just would not be great. Outpaces Lapras to the ice move. That is true. I think well, okay. You know what? Let me entertain it for a second. Let me see how's it rank on the new season. Oh, actually, you know what? I might have overlooked this one. All right, so this current season is 218, right? Not the best. But the Rock Tomb buff is pretty interesting, and it moves it all the way to 29th overall. Beats Diggersby, obviously. Beats Mandibuzz. Beating Mandibuzz consistently is actually pretty interesting, as for a grass type, too. It doesn't matter if they're running Air Slash or Snarl, because they're both neutral, right? You're not weak to the flying typing. It beats Azumarill, obviously. It beats Lapras. Kind of barely. It barely beats Feraligatr, but it does beat Shadow Feraligatr, too. Loses a Primate, Finite. Clodsire is actually not that hard of a loss, and it's actually not that hard of a loss even to Superior, which I thought would be a lot worse for it. So, okay, you know what? Respectable. Really respectable. Let's put a meta. I think it has... Ooh. Might even have more play. Honestly, what are you scared of, right? You're just worried about fighters. That's it. Everything else is fine. I mean, they didn't buff Dynamic Punch, but everything else is fine. Like, you have great coverage. Yeah, it's very safe. Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, no, thank you for correcting me on the Credilli. I do think I was mistaken. I didn't recognize its potential. Bombirdier gets Rock Tomb. This is in Great League. Nah, it's like a worse Mandibuzz. It's like a worse Galarian Moltres, actually, if I were to guess. It's just not good. Put it here, maybe. I mean, I'm curious how the rankings even rank it. Yeah, 136. It's not ideal. It's just like at that point, you just like it beats Mandibuzz, but like so does Galarian Moltres, and that's just like a little bit better, I think. Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy because I didn't think Moltres stats would actually be better than a Bombirdier, but it really is. Swampert gets Sludge. Now this is an interesting one. I actually really like how that looks. And on paper, it doesn't actually bump it up a ton in the rankings for some reason, but I do think that it could have some interesting play. I think it's because there's like Lapras and stuff, and like all these like things that really resist the water damage. So you have to go Sludge, and Sludge is like it's Sludge or something, but it's no Earthquake, right? Like how are you gonna take out Feraligatr? They don't even have the shield to Sludge, I think. It's interesting. I don't think it's enough to make it meta again, but I'll put this here for now. It could potentially be in the meta category, but it's like very low meta category or like top of fringe meta. Because I think you can make it work. I just think that you're kind of playing hard mode to a degree. Swallow also gets sludge, which Swallow is actually has a pretty crazy stat product. But I don't know. It just, I feel like it doesn't really cover a ton. Like sludge. Like it just had Sludge Bomb before. Sludge Bomb was not that terrible of a move. So like it just goes from one poison move to another. And the fact that you barely saw Swallow Up before is probably a good indicator of why it's probably not like relevant. Again, it's not bad. It's just like there's just better options, you know? You also get walled off by certain things, you know? Like Poison Ice, you get completely walled off by Steel types. Drapion, much better there because you have Neutral, Aqua Tail, and Crunch, right? Yeah. Yeah, so right now it has Sludge Bomb, which I played it before in Limited Cups, and it's like, it's okay, but yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Swampert is kind of overhyped. I mean, people find out once they start using it, because like, they can only make Sludge so good, right? Well, we already know how good Sludge is. It's just a damage change. That's it. And it's still not like up in the rankings. For example, Lapras, we already know all the moves and their damage and energy values, and it's number 3. What's Swampert waiting for? Like none of the energy changes that haven't been released that aren't related to its moveset will probably change its ranking by much. Roserade. Oh, I missed one too. Dragalge actually gets Sludge Bomb. This is an interesting one too. Again, I don't think it's like particularly great, but it does give it some additional coverage for Azumarill. It still loses Azumarill, is a problem. So, you know. I think it's interesting, but there's just better options. Its typing and coverage is definitely on the more unique end. But I wouldn't put it super highly ahead of other things. I think it's better than Swallow for sure. And Togekiss. I think that's actually a pretty appropriate ranking. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Because, like, especially if you're going against a fairy, even if you land the Sludge Bomb, what's going to happen? You can't Dragon Tail it down. The only benefit there is if they're already chipped. If they're not chipped, then, like, who knows? And honestly, if they're chipped, you could probably just go Aqua Tail at that point, right? Sludge Draco would be wild. Honestly, Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw would be great. Because the pacing's fast enough and Sludge, that'd be interesting. But unfortunately, got Sludge Bomb and Outrage. So, not going too far with that. We got Roserade getting Poison Sting. That's going to make things interesting because the energy generation there is going to be much faster. It's a 2-turn move. However, does this make it meta relevant is a better question. Is it like mostly better than Poison Jab? Yeah, I'll give it that. But it's still 196. So, yeah. Pretty fringe. Could be good in some limited cups, but I don't think it'll be good in Open Great League by any means. Is it bad? I think it's better than Lanoon, maybe. But it's so frail. Ferd also gets Trailblaze. And that does not really change my thoughts on this, to be honest. Maybe we'll do this for it. But, yeah, I don't know. Swift Trailblaze. It could be interesting for limited metas, I guess. Honestly, for limited meta purposes, I actually don't think it's that bad. So we'll put it here. And then, but this is an open format, but I'm just saying, like, it's any utility it has. Lanoon also gets Trailblaze. It already had a Grass move before, so that's not really that big of a difference. Yeah. Yeah, the Leaf... Oh, you think the Roserade's gotta be top 10? I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I just think it's super frail. The problem is if you don't land the Leaf Storm, what then, right? Leaf Storm does hit hard, I will say that. But against a lot of the water types, just overkill on damage, right? But, yeah. Wait, what's rank 31? Lanoon? Lanoon's 70, which is kind of wild to me. I don't think that's fully accurate. I actually don't think that would be good, but I could be wrong on that. I actually don't think Lanoon would be... There's a lot of ghost types, I guess. It's a lot of it's just bait potential, you know? It might be okay. I mean, looking at what's in this top, like, meta stuff, I can see utility in that. But wait, don't tell me fur is actually that high. 31? How? Like, I know what these moves do. I know what Swift Trailblade does. They're not changes. They just added to it. Okay, what is it beating? Jellicent. Okay, for Alligator. Okay. Azumarill. Diggersby, Lapras. I mean, just a bunch of water types. You know what this is? It's because these other Pokemon rank so high, they're going to push up things that beat it a lot higher too. But the thing is, no one runs a Jellicent, Fralgator, Azumarill team. Right? No one runs a Lapras, Azumarill, like, Swampert team or something. No one's going to run, like, all... I mean, Swampert's not as high, but, you know, just for example. No one's going to run these triple water teams. So, like, a Fur could only do so much, right? Fur's, meanwhile, going to be stuck on top of a Mana Buzz, and then what are you going to do, right? Just throw Resistance, Sucker Punch, and Swift? That is interesting, though. Alright. I might have been mistaken on that one. Yeah, these changes are wild. I might just make another follow-up video on this once it actually comes out, just to see how good everything is, and once I play, like, a few games of Go Battle League. But, like, I find it hard to believe that it's going to be that good. I truly find it hard to believe, but hey, I would love to be proven wrong. New version of Greedent? Yeah, it feels like a better version of Greedent for sure. I mean, Sucker Punch is a great move, right? Florges gets Trailblaze. Florges is definitely not great in Open Great League. So, it does have a little bit more coverage now. It's so frail. It's so frail. Put it here. Alright, I'm just going to look this one up in case I missed this one. There's no way Florges is like top 40 something. It's 90 though. That is actually still a lot higher than I think it is. Like, that's kind of crazy. So, okay, let's put it this way. Florges is 90th in the rankings. Shadow Swampert with the new moves Sludge, newly buffed Sludge, is 91. How is Florges better in rankings than Swampert? Right? But again, if you look at the rankings, that's why. Because the top part of the rankings is a lot of dark types. So anything that beats those dark types is instantly going to be inflated in its rankings. That's how I'm going to explain it. I guarantee you're going to see more Swampert next season than Florges. And if you see more Florges, I guarantee you Swampert's going to be winning at a higher rate than Florges. Yeah, but yeah, no, for sure. For Ultra League, potential Ultra League, and definitely Master League, it has a lot more utility. Yeah, this will be just focused on Great League, but yeah, 100% Master League Premier. Dude, that thing might be number 1 in the rankings. I can actually just sort. Well, no, I can only sort by Open Master League. And then Mightyena, Belly Bolt, and Bombardier all get Sucker Punch. Again, I don't think Bombardier is moving too much, so I'll just keep it there for now. It is essentially like a Moltres, but frailer. Mightyena, there's no way. This thing's pretty bad. I mean, out of curiosity, I'm curious how it is ranked, but Mightyena, 133 Shadow. It's actually not even that far from Swampert, but no, this thing's definitely bad. How bad is a good question. I'll put it, I don't know, like here maybe. I don't even know what Wailord does. I think everything like around behind Florges is just like bad. It's just bad. I don't think it's like anything crazy. Yeah, Sucker Punch. Yeah, Sucker Punch plus Poison Fang. I think it's kind of on the more frail side too. And then we got Belly Bolt. Belly Bolt's an interesting one because it's like, I think pretty bulky, but I don't know. What do you really need Sucker Punch for? It has like very expensive moves. Discharges get a buff, but even with all these buffs and changes to it, it's still ranked 228. It doesn't have any coverage moves. It's all electric for charge tags. It could run Water Gun, I guess, but I don't know why you do that. You're not going to beat most ground types anyway. Yeah, this thing's kind of bad. I mean, it's... There, I put it here. I'm actually really curious how good Wailord is. Yeah, Wailord's pretty bad too. It's got Surf, Rollout, and Return. Definitely better than that, I'd say. Yeah, we'll put that there. Does it win the 2s versus Azumarill? I doubt it. I assume you're talking about Mightyena. Well, let's take a look at the Shadow. No, it loses. Even the Shadow loses. Yeah, the Shadow and Outshot both lose. I think it's because of resistance damage. It's just like too much to overcome. But yeah. So those are all the actual updates for Pokemon that got any like new moves added on, right? Or moves they didn't previously learn. Oh wait, why do I have 2 Lappers here? Oh, I just have 2 Lappers accidentally because I think I saved it twice, but it's supposed to be there. I also have Blastoise here, but let's just do this. And I forgot how to get rid of this thing. Anyway, that's fine. Well, these are just repeats. Okay, so let's look at the other stuff, and these are like certain things that might have learned moves and stuff, or just in general are currently meta or some type of meta, and I'll see how I place them. So let's start off with maybe some more super meta stuff. So Azumarill, or maybe we'll bounce around because otherwise we'll just go top to bottom. Azumarill is still going to be pretty top meta, I feel. It's really strong still. It's really safe. A lot of the grass types just like still have the potential shield, or it can hit back against quite a bit of things. Yeah, I lose to Lapras, but like Lapras is weak to fighting. Azumarill not. You know, Lapras doesn't resist dark types. Azumarill does. I still think it's going to be really, really meta, honestly. And if I put it at top of the meta, I think I probably would. It's ranked 22 overall. But that's because there's like some poison stuff, but like it's really safe. It's really, really safe. I think you're going to still see it on like a ton of teams. Especially if like some of these ground types pick up and stuff too, right? And also like Sableye, Malamar. What's going to beat these things? It's going to be Azumarill, you know? The rankings might not say it, but I think it's going to be Azumarill. Yeah, and they didn't touch it at all, which is kind of wild. Let's talk about some more Ice Gold Spears, I guess. Walrein did win a recent international, European international. I don't think I saw Podmon who won it actually use it in any of the battles, at least the ones I watched, but it was there. Again, I do think it's better than Piloswine and stuff, but I don't think it's like really good. It just, what are you going to use it for? It's, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'll put it here, I guess. I mean, compared to this other stuff, sure. It's definitely more relevant, right? I'll put it here. I don't know. These 2 normal types are really throwing me off, though. But I actually, I don't know. We'll see about that one. We got, what's some other stuff? Togetic I already covered, so I'm going to move that down here. Morpeko's an interesting one. It does beat a lot of things in the meta. It resists. It's like good into the Grumpig. It's really just got to worry about ground and fighting types. And it also just takes a lot of neutral damage from everything. But particularly ground and fighting types. But I do think it's interesting. I wouldn't put it as super meta though. I'd probably put it as fringe meta. Because it's hard to run. It's hard to run. But I think it's really, really interesting though. And it has really good coverage. I do think the rankings are a little bit deceptive. Because it's really frail too, right? That's a 1 shield. What if you bait perfectly? Or what if like they play out the 2 shields? What if it's 0 shields? You can't operate this thing on 0 shields in most situations. Yeah, definitely destroy Lapras for sure. It's with the Psywave. How's the Grumping meta? Oh, it is Grumping. It's definitely Grumping for sure. Some of these grass types are just like, I'm not a huge fan of. I think this could be okay. But there's just better options than Whimsicott these days. Serperior, let's talk about another grass type. I think it's okay. Serperior could be pretty interesting. I still think it's going to be fairly meta. Like, it's going to be able to hit back pretty well. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's still a decent meta grass type. It doesn't have the same unique utility as Blastoise does, in my opinion. But I think it's good. We'll have to see, though. Clefable is just, like, the worst fairy type, in my opinion. It doesn't, like, it has interesting coverage, but not as good as Azumarill. And it doesn't have the resistances of Wigglytuff, right, for the ghost types. So, I think it could be okay, but, again, I'd probably put this in, like, a fringe meta category more than anything else. I actually think it's better than Swampert. Swampert's just kind of in a weird place, in my opinion. Yeah, let's take a look at some other stuff. Galarian Moltres. It's okay. I think Manabuzz is still going to be a little bit better. Because you just don't have to go for like the bait moves as often either. But I think it's okay. It just can't take a Dynamic Punch from a Grumpig, I feel like, as well. So I put this at like fringe meta, I think. Dude, these 2 are really throwing me off. Maybe I do this. I don't know. Maybe I do this. I think Moltres is interesting. Justice for Steve's Wilbur. Hey, man. That thing can't even beat a Rabombe. Whatever that thing's called. I'm just kidding. Medicham! Oh my gosh, Medicham makes a comeback. Is it a big comeback? Hard to say. It is interesting though. But if you run Psycho Cut, Dynamic Punch, and Ice Punch, you have 55 in the rankings. I feel like you kind of need Psychic though for the Annihilate matchup. So, but you have options. Dynamic Punch being cheaper is interesting for sure. I think it's still going to be a little bit on the more fringe side, but I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's definitely more relevant than these. I could be more Pekko is interesting. I don't know. Probably I'll leave it at that. Medcham's interesting for sure. I wouldn't count it out of potentially being meta, but I feel like it's really hard to run it in an Annihilate meta. That's just my thoughts, but I could be mistaken. Okay, so what else do we have here? Cresselia has just been something that's been around the meta for a while. I feel like it's already kind of fallen out of favor in this past season, and it's just like looking worse and worse in that regard. It's a good Pokemon. Like, don't mistake that. It is a good Pokemon. It's just, I feel like, hard to use. I don't know. We'll put in fringe meta for now. There's a lot of dark types. Actually, no. I should put some more respect on Cresselia. It has it has good coverage to the Azumarill. It's you do get hit by the Shadow Ball from the Grumpig though. There's just a lot of things that's going to beat it, but I think it's still really, really solid. Let's put it here. I think there's a lot of ghosts, but the thing is, like, there's only so many ghosts on one team, right? There are a lot of ghost options and dark options, but how many realistic are you going to see on one team? So that's what makes it a little better, in my opinion, you know? Grumpig is a good example of that too, right? Grumpig is a Psychic type. There's a lot of ghosts and dark types, but you're only going to really run into one or two max on a team, right? So, you know, Accent on P-Poke right now, putting Medicham in The Sims. No, I know. I saw Accent actually think about running it, and I honestly don't think it's the worst idea, which is why I think it's a fringe meta pick. It could be even meta. I know he's had a lot of success with Medicham in his personal career, so I wouldn't blame him for trying to run it. And a lot of his downfalls later in his career was because he ran Medicham. So, but in metas where it wasn't good, this one could be interesting. Golisopod. Okay, Golisopod has Aqua Jets, and Aqua Jet got a sizable buff. So I actually think this could be an interesting one for sure. It goes all the way up to 46. It's okay. Still loses to Azumarill though. It loses to Jellicent, which is interesting. Oh yeah, because Jellicent has Shadow Ball, even if it's taking super effective damage. Beats Feraligatr barely. It could beat Lapras. It could be Annihilate. I don't know. I think this was kind of fringe. What's putting it up in the rankings really a lot is because it beats like Lapras, which is really high up in the rankings. It beats Feraligatr, which is high up in the rankings. Clodsire. But the thing is, like, it's barely beating it. And this is Clodsire running Sludge Bomb. If you're in Stone Edge, it's like kind of game over, right? But it technically resists all the movesets. Or most of it? It should, right? Yeah. I think so. Bug resist poison? Or no? Anyway. I don't know. I don't think this is, like, particularly good. I'll put it, like, here for now. It's interesting, but it's way too frail. If it had the bulk of a Araquanid, we'd be talking about a different story. Azu Double Ghost? Yo. That is a throwback team if I've ever seen one. That was a great team, too. I think... Did Though Technical come up with it, or he just copied someone else running it and made it, like, his thing? I forgot what the story was. I know one of the teams he, like, copied and then, like, made it more popular. But I thought it was someone else that made it. I could be mistaken. I know he definitely popularized it, but... Anyway. Okay, a few other things. Emolga, Discharge, and Acrobatics got buffed. Could be interesting. I don't think it's actually particularly good, because, again, there's just better options. But I think it could have some effect. Yeah, it does bump all the way itself up to 33 in the rankings. You know what? I won't fully count it out for now. Morpeko just seems a little bit better. But I'll put it here. I think it could be interesting. Morpeko just has, like, better typing, I feel like, outside, you know. But Azu Dusclops core, here we come. Yeah. Azu Dusclops Sableye. Seems like a team right then and there. Dazzling on the Sableye to hit the Darks back. Maybe grab a shield. Farm down with the Azumarill. Sweep with the Dusclops. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say this so much. That might be my first GPL team next season. We'll see. We'll see. All right. These are just some old electric types that from past seasons have been okay, but have been pretty bad these days. Magnezone, kind of weird. I'll put it here. I don't think it's really good. There's just so much better electric types these days, and it just doesn't they're both taking super effective from counter damage, but like this doesn't even resist dark types, right? Whereas this resists dark damage. This resists fighting damage, right? So there's like benefits of these, whereas this just doesn't really have any upswings to it compared to the other electrics. Has to run Azu Dusclops. He should run Dusclops Azu Wilmer. That's more up his speed, I feel like. Oh, I already had a Sableye up here. Okay, well I'll take this down. Just to keep the new graphics up there. Alolan Sandslash didn't really get touched this season or this upcoming season. I think it's still interesting. It's like one of the more reliable steel types. It's probably the best steel type we have, unfortunately. And yes, the Grumpig has Dynamic Punch, but it still has to get to it, and you resist all the side wave damage. I think it's still going to be pretty good. You're also pretty good into the Lappers, I feel like, right? So you at least resist everything they throw at you. Yeah, so it's up to 52%. But I actually think the rankings are more deceptive, and I actually think it's better than that, in my opinion. Hey, Kenobi, what's up? I guess I thank you so much for the great content, informational videos put out. Not sure you're one of the best podcasts we have, along with Butters. Oh, appreciate it. We have a lot of good casters, I will say that. But one of my personal favorites is Butters, and that's not just because I cast with him. I truly mean it. And, yeah, I just really enjoy just bantering with him in general. But yeah, he's got good energy. He's got like a sportscaster vibes, right? Because he's very big into sports, so he's watched a lot of sportscasters growing up. So like when I hear him talk, he sounds like he's casting like a sports game. It's esports, right? But it just sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like there's like a very officialness to it. Like, that's interesting. But appreciate the comments, Kenobi. And welcome into the stream. Dunsparce. This got rollouts and rollout nerfed, I should say. So it's not going to be as good. It's definitely got to be worse than these two random, weirdos up there. But its coverage is still good. I don't know. I still put it ahead of these things. It's a nerf, but I don't think it's too bad. I just think people are going to default to other ground types, right? Speaking of underground types, Diggersby. Diggersby is still like really, really good in my opinion. So I still put it up here. Like it beats a lot of the dark types. Like Manabuzz it just beats because of the Fire Punch buff. It's still really, really meta in my opinion. Let's put it up here. I think it might be better than Grumpig. Hard to say. Grumpig's an interesting one. I don't know. Diggersby is just really, really strong. He's like one of the most reliable counters to poison types that we have. There's not a lot of things that kind of like can reliably beat Drapion, but it's like pretty solid as long as you don't like never bait or something. Like sometimes you just want to go Fire Punch once you for that bait call. But Quagsire is a ground type that we've seen a decent amount of. It's okay. I actually think it's actually not too bad. It didn't really get changed in any way, but I think it's not too bad. Is it meta though? It's probably like our best meta ground water type, right? I don't think it's like particularly bad. I don't think it's really good. It's 43 for Shadow and 48 for non-Shadow. I think it's okay. I put it here because I don't think every team needs a Quagsire, but it's definitely the best. I think it's easily one of the best water ground types you have. Gastrodon, I don't love as much. Let's take a look at Gastrodon. It is ranked number 19. I mean, I guess because there's more playing to Lapras. I don't like it as much, though. I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion. I think I should put some respect on it, though, because it is good into Drapion. But, like, at that point, why don't you just run Marowak? Marowak's just, like, the better ground type. I think I'm going to put it at the bottom here. Okay, so here's my rationale. If you want a Mud Slapper that's a ground type, you just run Marowak. Neither are going to beat grass types, right? You're not really going to reliably beat, like, Talonflame with this either, especially with Earth Power, right? So even though you resist the fire damage, they just hit you with flying damage. Whereas alone, Kanto Marowak can still at least throw a Rock Slide to one shot. But, yeah. It's a bit early to predict, but any thoughts on the move updates? Oh, no worries. Yeah, I did talk about it briefly, but I'll put up a YouTube video with, like, this VOD and, like, edit it up as well, so you don't have to listen to somebody rambling. Yeah, Claydol over Marowak now? Actually, yeah, that's a good point, too. So I think if you're going to run a Mud Slapper, you would typically want to run Red Gastrodon. Yeah. But yeah, on the actual specific moveset update, I could just generally speaking, we don't know the engine cost a lot of this stuff, but I think Aqua Jet is like a huge buff. And then Rock Tomb's a big buff as well. Foul Play, Discharge are both like side grades, but I think they're inherently buffs in themselves. And then the others are pretty self-explanatory, I think. Dazzling Gleam and Air Card, I believe, are both buffs, even though it's not clear based on the languaging. But my rationale was that they're just already bad moves, so it makes no sense for them to nerf it. So if anything, it's a buff. Maybe not a big one, but it's still something. Dash Bunt's a weird one. I don't know. It's like a Charmer that's... It's like definitely fringe meta. It's like ranked high, but I think the rankings are kind of deceptive. I'll put it here, I guess. It's probably better than Togekiss. But there's a reason why people haven't seen him, right? Corviknight is an interesting one because it is currently ranked much higher than I think it should be in current Great League, and it's 16 overall. I don't know. Corviknight's a good example of like something that's ranked high that just still doesn't feel great. But Grumpig, no, it's not. It's Grumpig's not the problem though. We had Malamar before, and Corviknight still wasn't that good. Corviknight's a weird one. I put it at like, I just don't see how to make Corviknight work. I think that's my issue with it. I don't think it's a bad Pokemon. It's very bulky, but it's just like, I don't know. With electric types coming a little bit too. I'll put it right here for now. Maybe I'll put it right here. It is unique in its typing. Like there's Skarmory and no one's really using it. So like if you need a Steel Flying type, it's probably your best bet. But yeah. Let's rank some other stuff. Clodsire, another ground type. It's ranked really high. I do think it's pretty good. I'll put it right here. I feel like there's too many things that beat it. It's still ranked really high and really good, but I don't know if I'd actually like say it's top tier meta. I think it's gonna be actually much harder to bring, especially in tournaments than anything else. Carpink is always a weird one. It's always ranked much higher than I think it is, because it's like never actually that good. It's ranked 30. It's not a 30 ranked Pokemon. You would never bring this to a tournament either, but even in GBL, you rarely see this. It's hard to say. Like, it's actually solid in GBL. I will give it that. I'll put it here for now. But it's just not, yeah. No. Speaking of rock types too, this thing is actually straight garbage these days. It's just bad. It's not like unusable, but just not good. I'll put it here. This is probably decent, but like I think it's better than all these for sure. All right. Other electric types. Chargebug's an interesting one. I think Chargebug's actually pretty underrated even right now. Obviously, second place at European International did have a Chargebug on the team, but I think people are kind of picking up on how like it's actually pretty solid. Pacing's just a little bit slower though compared to Morpeko and stuff. And if you get hit by one Aura Sphere, Dark Aura Sphere, it's probably like most of your health, and you just get Thunder Shock down. I think it's interesting though. I just don't think it's as good as the other electric types. Put it here. Yeah, I'll put it there for now. Yeah, rest in peace, Bassi, for sure. Maybe one day it'll come back. I sure am not confident in using it though. This is not going to be great because it's already worse than... Where is Dunsparce? Where did I put Dunsparce? Oh, right here. It's worse than Dunsparce already in Great League. You know, Ultra League is a different story, but Great League is actually already worse. It's hard to say. I'll put it here. I'll put it like, I don't really like this in general. I'll put it there for now. Something else that reminds me of that a bit is, well, talking to Marvel, I don't even know why. It's really high in the rankings all the time for some reason. I think it's just because the bait aspect to it, it's actually not like good. Do I put it here? It's just like, why? You just run Morpeko at that point, right? You just run Morpeko. Like, they're both weak to fighting. Oh, I guess it is like they're actually on opposite ends of the fringe meta, but yeah, that's actually fair in that respect. Okay, Aurora's kind of a weird one too. Always high in the rankings. I don't think it's like that good. It's just not bad. It's just not good. I'll put it here. It's a little bit too frail compared to Bastion, but it has good coverage. Rock Ice. Malamar's an interesting one. I think Malamar is actually like still pretty solid. It's been solid, but I think it like is. I mean, it's really good into Grumpig, right? I mean, you have a lot more play into that, I guess. And Foul Play is getting buffed. I forgot about that. Foul Play is getting buffed, or it's getting changed. My guess is getting buffed. That makes it really interesting because then you can start like throwing moves much faster, and it's already super spammy. I'll put it right here. I don't like this coverage as much as Grumpy's coverage, but I think it's actually pretty interesting. Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting with how that's gonna go. Wigglytuff is an interesting one. I think there's a lot of dark types and it's pretty solid. It just wins a lot of neutrals and there's a lot of ghost types too. I think it's really good meta-wise. I'll put it here. I don't think it's as good as Clodsire, but it's definitely close. These are just like an old grass type that we used to have. If you're like, why is Venusaur much worse than Superior? Superior's just bulkier. And it doesn't take neutral from ground types, Mudslappers, all that stuff. So, and yeah, it has something to hit back Drapion with, whereas this doesn't. It has some, yeah, so I don't know. I just don't really love Venusaur. I'll put it here, I guess. Yeah, it's not great. Primeape is interesting. I think Primeape is still pretty meta. It's no Annihilate, but it has a lot of play. I mean, again, it got second place at the European International. I think it's actually really, really solid. How solid is a good question. I'll put it here. Lapras being around is interesting too. I'll put it here. I think Clodsire and Primeape are interchangeable in some ways, shape, and form. Annihilate is the other more popular fighter these days. I think it's actually ranked lower. Yeah, it actually is ranked lower. But I do think it's actually much better in the sense that it wins a head-to-head. You have the counter damage for Lapras and stuff. I don't know. It's a little bit more reliable in some ways. I'll put it like right here. I think they're both solid though in what they do. It's rough to see Bastion on your C tier, partly because I love that Pokemon and I have been walking it for... Yeah, I walked mine quite a bit too when I made it the first time. I hope they bring it back one day. The good news is any Pokemon with good stat product will always have that stat product. Doesn't matter how much they nerf or buff their moves, they will always have that stat product, which is why Azuma's so hard to nerf unless they like complete gut it to the ground, because its stat product is there. It's really good stat product. So because of that, it's unlikely that it'll ever be like out of the meta unless they really just destroy all the moves it learns. But the moves it learns are like pretty common. Ice Beam, Play Rough, Bubble, like a lot of other things learn it, right? So, but yeah, so stat product is there. So I'm hopeful that maybe one day it makes a return, but we'll see. Jump Off got a slight buff in the sense that Acrobatics just got cheaper, but I think you probably still run Aerial Ace most of the time. I think it's good. You don't take super effective fast attack damage from Lapras at least. I still think it's still a really, really good flying type Pokemon. I'll put it S tier. I think it's still like arguably the best flying type Pokemon, but yeah. Yeah, stat product is always going to reign supreme in many shapes, ways, and form. Speaking of high stat product, yeah, Toxapex. It's okay. I mean, it's the one thing that walls off Azumarill, right, in this meta. It's just, like, not very, like, strong. I don't know. It is unique in what it does. I will give it that. But Grumpig getting that side wave is pretty annoying. Like, it loses a lot of things as well at the same time, right? I'll put it here. I think these two can change a bit. Either way, the Cresselia and the Toxapex, but I think overall it's not too bad. I know I said that Alolan Sandslash is probably the most reliable steel pick. Registeel, I feel like it's just pacing just too slow. It's like okay, but it's just like it just get outpaced by so many things these days. It's definitely better than this stuff. We'll put it here. It's just hard to use, I feel like right now. It's really hard to use. Its ranking might not even be that bad. Wow, its ranking is actually pretty bad. 84? 84 is nuts for Registeel to be at. Because you know what's at 90? Florges. Great League Florges is at 90. Great League Registeel is at 84. This used to be like... you know how crazy this glow down is? I was talking about the glow up of freaking Grumpig. Glow down time. Registeel, I remember at its peak, like a few seasons ago, maybe a year or two ago, it was like 1 or 2 in the rankings overall. That's crazy of a drop-off. And the thing is, they didn't really touch anything. They didn't touch like Focus Blast, Lockdown, or Zap Cannon this season. Or Flash Cannon, for that matter. That's wild. That's a crazy glow down, but you know what happens. Another Dynamic Punch user I'm curious about is Poliwrath. Excuse me. All right, it did drop quite a bit in rankings. Although it doesn't even have Polyrath or Dynamo Punch listed on it. I just don't think it's that good. It does like resist everything from the Feraligatr, but I don't know. I don't love it. Dynamo Punch does make it more interesting. Maybe we'll put it here for now, especially if more people want Dynamo Punch. Fortress Arena Regional, dude. Maybe. Yeah, it does. And like all the Swords Justice Annihilate in there too. Like it makes it kind of hard to run, I feel like. But yeah. Also like if you go Dynamo Punch, what do? Dynamo Punch Icy Wind, I guess. Probably the best moveset coverage. It's just like having to only throw Icy Wind at Annihilate feels really bad. Because like they're ramping up their damage anyway, so and Icy Wind just non-stab just doesn't hit very hard, unfortunately. Alright, Jellicent's an interesting one because Hex is getting a buff on multiple fronts. It is ranked pretty high too because it does wall off the Lapras' charge attacks, even if it has Skull Bash. I don't know. 17 is pretty high. I don't know if it's actually like gonna be that good. I mean, it's decent into the Annihilate, I guess, too, right? And you have play into the Diggersby. It's kind of a weird one because they're like both throwing resist attacks. Let's play into Zumro too. I don't know. I think this could be interesting. I think this could definitely be interesting. I think it's better than. I think it's better than a lot of these things actually. We'll put it here for now. And my guess is like somewhere around this Toxapex Cresselia range. It's not as bulky as the other two though, but other ghost types as well. Drifblim is definitely moving down a bit. It has Hex on PV Poke, but I feel like if it's about the same as Astonish, I don't think Hex is gonna be better than Astonish. So you probably just run Astonish on it, so it's okay. It was good when there's a lot more Clodsire, I think, especially Clodsire Safe Swap, but it's like it just requires too many shields, in my opinion. I think it's better than this thing though. I'm kind of surprised that Morpeko isn't A. So Morpeko is just a little hard to operate. It's super frail, right? You know, a few counters and you're kind of done for. I think it's going to be really good in GPL. I think in a official tournament style, it's much harder to bring. But even in GBL, I feel like it's like feast or famine, at least when I use Morpeko, right? Especially if it's like not like day one GBL, right? Like when I'm facing players my skill level, I either like hard roll them with the Morpeko or I just like get steamrolled. Yeah, and I had to spend all my shields and I have no idea where to place them. So, yeah. Other ghost types as well. Dusclops, Hex buff, which is pretty nice for Dusclops. It is ranked really high right now. It's ranked at 8th overall. The difference here between the other Hex users is that it's really bulky. It might be similar bulk to Jellicent. I'm not sure though. It is an interesting one for sure. I mean, you have Sucker Punch, Hex. It doesn't have the same resistances as Jellicent has, but I think it could be interesting. I don't know. Do we think it actually could be better? Okay, you know what? I need to see. I need to see its matchup versus Zumro. Okay, it beats Zumro. Never mind. This thing's good. Okay, is it super meta? It might be. I don't know. No, I wouldn't go that far yet. Let's put it here for now. Let's put it here, right? What does it beat? Clodsire, Annihilate, Toxapex, Corviknight, Azumarill. But loses Mandibuzz, loses Feraligatr, loses Lapras, loses Diggersby. You know, so like loses Shao Drapion. So it's like kind of unreliable. It like beats half of it and then just like loses the other half. But Ultra Gromphig might be the truth. We'll talk about Ultra League on a different day. This is just Great League, but yeah, Ultra League Gromphig, and I'll show you all a secret, just so that you can take a gander at what I'm working with. I don't want to post this online so everyone can see, but take a look at this. All right, first off in that middle center is a rank 21 Shadow Gromphig. Some shinies. I have a rank 1 Great League and a rank 2 Ultra League. And let me tell you how long I've been holding on to these for. 2021. March 2021 was when I got one of those. And the other one is also 2021. Yeah. We've been ready. I mean, I always tell people, save the best rank of everything you catch, right? I mean, okay, if it's like you wouldn't like catch like a Weedle for like Great League, right? But if it's a good, like, I don't think Kakuna even powers up, right? But like, you know, so obviously within reason, right? But for anything that could even hit that CP mark, always save it. You never know, right? This thing went from 900 something rankings all the way into the top like 10 or something. So yeah, it was funny because Niantic tweeted out, he's like, always like hoard everything or save everything, like you never know, like, or like everything's one move away from being relevant. And it wasn't a bad looking big IV spread, I will say that. I also, you know, big fan of Niantic. Me and him are really good friends. But I just was thinking, like, really, like, this is not really the IV flex I would be flexing on. But I didn't want to show him up, so I didn't want to comment my own underneath. But yeah, I mean, he has an okay spread. It's not like an attack heavy one, at least. But I think Pokemon like that are so much fun. We all hold on to these obscure Pokemon that may come in clutch one day. Yeah, for sure, right? If Rankin was Spearow and Murkrow, no, you never know. You really never know. I mean, like 2 years ago, we had Gligar was the top meta Pokemon. Like, what? Who would have expected Gligar, right? Now we have what's in the meta right now that's really weird? I don't know. Bunch of random stuff. All right, well, let's get to back to some of this stuff too. Golurk did get a Dynamic Punch buff. It does have Mud Slap as well. Is this the better option over Shadow Marowak? I don't know. The problem with this is it's taking super effective damage from Feraligatr Shadow Claw. And there's a lot of Shadow Claw users, a lot of Hex users these days, Astonish, all that stuff. So I'm a little skeptical, to be honest. I think the rankings are high for sure, but personally, I'm not fully sure on this. I think it's better than a nerf down Sparse. We'll put it that way. I'm obviously open to be proven wrong. Other grass types, Abomasnow's interesting. Rollout did get nerfed, but I feel like everything else is still pretty relevant. I don't know. Abomasnow could be interesting, honestly. It has interesting coverage for sure, right? You could hit back against the Credilli. Well, Credilli could hit back against it, actually, I guess is what I should be saying. I don't think it's bad. Let's put it here for now. I actually think it could be interesting. Yes, Golurk did beat the hot garbage allegations, and it beat it again. You know who beat the hot garbage allegations once and for all? Freaking Claydol. Like, I know it wasn't hot garbage like the last time I did a tier list either with it, but like, it's actually good. I can't believe I'm saying this. You know how long like it's been since like I've constantly pooped on Claydol in these tier lists? Well, it finally had its glow up moment. Claydol is now, so this past season, Claydol was 317th with even Mudslap, you know, being better these days. It jumped up over 300 spots to 15 overall on the predictions, at least for PvPoke. 15th overall. I mean, Rock Tomb got buffed. Scorching Sands got buffed like a little bit ago. Mud Slab. And it's still got the full Swiss Army knife of Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Psychic, Earthquake, Gyro Ball. Like, so it still has all those other options if you'd like to see it. I am very curious about this one for sure. What does it beat? Well, it beats obviously Electrix and Morpeko. It beats Clodsire, Drapion. Being Drapion's nice because it has Aqua Tail and Crunch, but you still could farm it down. It beats a Nightlave. That's interesting. Well, I mean, I guess you're resisting the counter damage. You lose a Primeape though. You use it for Alligator. You use it for Lapras. You could beat Azumarill? How? That's nuts. How does a ground Psychic type beat Azumarill? Like, your Azumarill throwing super effective fast attacks and charge attacks. Meanwhile, you're throwing only neutral moves. So it only happens in the one shield, and the two shield is actually a tie, which is even crazier. I don't even know how it's happening. You just go straight Rock Tomb. You just go straight Rock Tomb, and you win the ones, and you tie on the twos against Azumarill. What? That's crazy. That's actually nuts. I would think Azumarill would be a counter to it. Yo, that is actually insane. I think this is S tier. You could, because what is it losing to? Lapras? Okay, but you have Rock Tomb for it, right? You have Rock Tomb for Lapras. Against Feraligatr, you lose to it, but I'm pretty sure if you just two shield through it, you can Mud Slap him down, right? No, you can't. It gets close, but yeah, not quite. But you get debuff, and if you're ever up 1 shield over them, 1 to 2 shields, or 2 to 1 shields, or 1 to 0 shields, you still win that. Yeah, I mean, who cares if you lose to Diggersby and Mana Buzz, right? Like, that's to be expected. That's actually kind of nuts. I think that's an S tier Mud Slapper for sure. 100%. The fact that you could beat a Azumarill is crazy. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Nathan? Yeah. Yeah, I might need to. But anyway. So, Claydol, yeah, Claydol the GOAT, which is never thought I'd say in my life, but here we are. Here we are. Umbreon, I mean, Foul Play got slightly adjusted. I don't think it's like particularly amazing. It's just really bulky, right? It's got good stat product. None of his moves are really nerfed in the past. It just, other things kind of just came around it. Oh wait, PV Poke actually still has this as Dark Pulse. So that's probably why its actually ranking is actually not even that high. It's 130. But if Foul Play is indeed a buff, I think this actually could be interesting for sure. Would I say it's meta? I think it fringe. I'd say it's fringe meta. I think it's, yeah, let's put it here. I think it could be really interesting, especially if Foul Play gets a actually reasonable buff. He's gonna be climbing low too fast next season. That wouldn't even be spicy next season. Well, Cacturne, yeah, but Claydol probably not. Yeah, this is gonna be super interesting on how that goes. Okay, let's talk about some other ground types. Unova Stunfisk, it's okay. It's definitely, I'm not even gonna talk about the Glaring Stunfisk because it's like so irrelevant at this point. It's not even worth being on tier list. It's ranked 32 as in the predictions for next season, which is pretty high. You could take out for Alligator because you could just tank a Hydro Cannon, I guess. It loses the Diggersby, obviously, Dusclops, whatever. But it has a lot of play, I think. Is it like really good? I don't know. It's just going to lose to the Mud Slappers, right? But my friend and previous podcast co-host, Anacor, likes to think it's pretty good right now. I don't think it's bad. I'll put it here. I think that's an appropriate spot for it. Other ground types, we got Whiscash, which also is just like not as good as it used to be. It's not bad. It's just like you might as well just run Quagsire at that point, right? I don't think it's like bad though. I think it's better than a Swampert. That I will say. Let's put it here. Donphan was pretty decent this season in some aspects, not like fully, but it's not bad. I just don't think it's going to be as good as Claydol. Claydol's just like way bulkier too. I don't think it'll be meta. I think it'll be like, where do I really put this? I feel like it's somewhere around here. Probably that. Goldspot did get a buff, so I'll give him some credit there. We got ourselves like Kanto Marowak, the more popular Mud Slapper of this season, and it is actually ranked below Claydol. But you know why? Both have the same fast attack, both have ground coverage moves, Scorching Sand versus Bone Club, and then both have rock moves, Rock Slide versus Rock Tomb. What's better? Scorching Sand is a better energy efficient move for sure over Bone Club, I think. I don't know, they're probably similar. But it has a chance for debuff on Scorching Sand, and Rock Tomb, guaranteed debuff. Rock Slide, none of that. So I think it's actually worse than Claydol at the moment, which is interesting. I think it's still good. I just don't think it's going to be as good. I mean, Claydol does have some weaknesses, like, you know, you can't Mud Slap down a Shout for Alligator, but Marowak can. So there's that. I'll put it like here, maybe. I think it's interesting, but I don't know. Maybe it's still going to be around. Who knows? Goodra, some of these weird ones. I just have this on there because it's from like a previous tier list. I was just like trying to see how it falls, but I don't think it's like particularly good. It's not bad, it's not good. Frigiback's kind of similar story. Just like there's not a lot of things that it's like really targeting these days, unfortunately. I think that's the only reason why I don't favor it a ton. Put it here. Miltank's an interesting one because it also got nerfed. It wasn't that good to begin with. I think it's definitely better than a Licky for sure, but maybe not that great. I'll put it here. I think it's appropriate. Alolan Marowak. It got second at an international. It actually wasn't too bad, I guess. But, it's just not great. Most of the time, if you're running a fire type, you run a different fire type. Like Talonflame. Typhlosion. Oh, Typhlosion I don't even have on the list. Yeah, that one I probably should have. My bad. I'll update it for the next one. The Alolan Marowak. I would say this will probably go... I don't know. It's kind of a weird one, too. Maybe here? It's hard to use. I don't think it's, like, impossible, but... What about Dusknoir? Oh, good question. Dusknoir is... I put it right here. I don't think it's that good. Not in Great League. But other leagues, maybe. Okay, Drapion has probably dropped a bit in rankings because all these Mudslappers are up and around. But I think it's really good because you're going to have at most one Mudslapper on a team, right? For the most part. GBL maybe two if you're going ABB. In a tournament, definitely just one. I think Drapion is still really good. It's super safe. It's super safe. And you got Grumpig, right? Which, like, you're going to do better into that, too. I think it's really, really good. It's better than a Azumarill? Yeah, I'd say so. It's way safer than Azumarill. Obviously not as bulky, but it's actually way safer, which is what makes it good. Greninja, kind of a fringe pick. It's kind of okay, but I'd say probably around here. Mandibuzz, gonna be really good. It's top of the rankings, but I think it's really strong in general. I don't think it's as safe as Azumarill. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's beating Mandibuzz? Azumarill and like occasional ice, one fairy. It's pretty good. I feel like the rollouters aren't around anymore, right? Like when Dunsparce's around, it made it more annoying. But I think it's actually really safe right now. Really, really solid. I probably put it here. Diggersby is like kind of nuts. It's really strong. Fortress, my buddy in co-caster Speed is Chief. You know, he was hyped about the Rock Tomb buff. This is also something that's got a lot of buffs over time, but just never really did it much with it. I don't think it's that good, unfortunately. Still, I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think it's particularly amazing. It's worse than a. It's ranked worse than a Florges, right? For context. I don't know. I think I'll put it. I don't think it's just. I just don't think it's good. Put it here, after Bastion. Bastion, at least you can like steamroll some teams by just outbulking them, whereas Fortress is a little bit more frail than that. Talonflame's interesting. I still think Talonflame's like probably one of the best fire types besides Typhlosion. Is it meta? Hard to say. I put it like here because Wigglytuff has a lot of upswing against all these Dark and Ghost types that are around. Wiggly spammers, yeah. Galarian Corsola, man, this thing is nasty still. I think it's actually disgusting how strong this thing is. Let's see how it ranks in the new season with Nightshade nerf. 6th overall. That's crazy. It's still 6th overall. It still has win cons against Mandibuzz because they didn't nerf Power Gem. It was just Nightshade that was nerfed. This thing is kind of nutty. Dare I put it higher? Yeah, I think so. I think it's just really good still. It's really, really good still. It still beats Azumarill, beats Dusclops. Like, why run Dusclops when you run Galarian Corsola, right? Yeah, I think it's still just really busted, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because I don't have one, but also it's just super costly. Guzzlord, definitely a fringe pick. I'd probably put it out here. Skeldurge, also pretty fringe. Not that they never nerfed Skeldurge in the past few seasons. It's just a lot of his targets were kind of gone, I feel like. Yeah, I think that's the main issue more than anything else. Because they didn't touch it much, but it's kind of dropped a lot in usage. Also, the Ghost, I guess Annihilate and Primeape, those Ghost spamming is kind of annoying for it. I don't think it's amazing right now. I'd probably put it here. Yeah, let's do that. We got a few more to go. Pangoru. It's okay. A few appears in the tournaments. Kind of hard to have one in general. It's not very accessible because you have to roll one under that you call in the wild or something like that. You can't like hatch them, so you have to just have one from the wild. I opened some cryptocurrency tier list. It's hilarious. Pangoru is It's interesting. There are a lot of dark types these days, but now Grumpy's about to be able to hit you back pretty hard too, which is not ideal. I think it's probably around here. I really think Umbreon might be a lot better, and it might even move up in usage, but we'll have to see. Steelix, I don't know about Steelix. Steelix in Great League is like kind of frail, and like no one's really been able to make it work. It is ranked 28th overall, which is kind of interesting, but I don't know. I'm not like super sold on it just because it's not like it's kind of on the more frail end. I think in the right position could be good. All right, let's just put it right there for now. For Alligator, still gonna be really, really strong in my opinion. There's nothing really slowing this thing down. What got buffed that could slow down for Alligator? Played all loses to it and all evens, right? What else? There's some electric types like Amoga on discharge, but how much Amoga are you really gonna see? What else in this list that got buffed? Credilli. That's about it, right? I think overall it's still really, really strong, and I'm gonna put it here. I think it's like Mana Buzz, just like the pacing is not as fast. That's what holds it back. Zapdos made a slight appearance here or there in recent tournaments. I don't like it though. I think it's like a worse Moga. Wait, it has, yeah, it doesn't even have discharge. It's a worse Moga. It's a more frail Moga even. On top of that, probably put it here. I think it's more utility than these two right now, but that's just me. Dugong could be pretty good. I think Dugong's still really, really strong overall. I probably put Dugong. I mean, that's why Pilot's not relevant, right? That's why Wolverine's not relevant, because Dugong's just better and bulkier. Guaranteed debuff as well. It's interesting. But it has to contend with Lapras now. Actually, I'm curious. Does Lapras beat it with all resisted charge attacks? Let me see. Oh, wait. What do I not have here? All right. Something must be up here. I feel like Lapras beats it. Otherwise, Lapras wouldn't be ranked so high. What the heck? How does Lapras beat this when Dugong has neutral moves and you're throwing resisted moves the whole time? It's just because the Psywave damage is a lot, I guess. That's crazy. That's actually insane. Okay. Well, look. If it wasn't for Lapras, this thing would be ranked a lot higher. But I'm going to put it like here? See, that's the thing. It just doesn't cover stuff the same. I'm going to put it here. Umbreon's at least more unique in its coverage. Like, there's no other dark type that's throwing dark normal, right? That's pure dark. There's, like, obviously things that throw dark moves, but it's, like, very unique in its role and its typing. You know, non-flying, bulky dark type. Dugong, though, its role has been completely replaced by Lapras. So, in what world do you ever run Dugong over Lapras? They have the same typing, right? So, Steelix? Is it really? I thought in Great League. No, there's no way. Actually, I'm mistaken. That thing is bulkier. Why is that thing so bulky? Okay, it's all in its defense. It has like 70 less HP, which is why I feel like it's not like it has really high defenses for sure. I mean, that's pretty interesting. But I still stand by it being more on the fringe meta side. But hey, I learned something new. I did not think it was that much stat product, I should say. Because the attack is not that high either. So yeah. Lapras vs Gator now. Yeah, exactly, Neon. Which is why I think that the Umbreon ranking is like not truly accurate. And then the very last Pokemon we have, I know I'm missing Typhlosion, so I'll add it for the next one, is Galarian Weezing. And this is an interesting one because Sludge did get buff. Is it really, really good? I wouldn't say all that, but it's not bad. It's 21 on the Shadow, which I don't have one, so I really need Niantic to bring that back for my sake and everyone else's sake. And they have non-Shadow Galarian Weezing's 57. What does it beat? Beats for Alligator, which is pretty interesting. Shadow for Alligator. Mana Buzz without even running Play Rough, which is wild. Beats Azumarill with Sludge, obviously. Primeape and Annihilape. That's actually pretty good. Obviously, it loses the poison types or whatever, but that's actually a really interesting Pokemon. I'll put him here. I think Azumarill still goes reign supreme as the premier fairy type, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of this. Yeah. And yeah, that's going to do it for my tier list. This is, again, the pre-patch Great League tier list for the new season of Might and Mastery that goes live sometime next week. So I will make another tier list, and my next tier list will probably just be a readjustment of this one. I'll just look at all this stuff and see like what I should have changed and moved around, because I'm sure I will do some of that, and I'll add typhlosion, maybe some other stuff I'm missing. But yeah, that's an early look at things. Anyway, check your Grumpig IVs, Spoink IVs, get that Claydol ready. Man, this was a glow up. This was a long-term glow up in the making, but also a big glow up for Claydol. So happy for that, and yeah, that's about it. Don't invest in your Robombe and your Whalmer, and you'll be all good. But yeah, Umbreon does. Yeah, I think Umbreon does have a lot of play, so that's why I think it's, and just really bulky, right? There's nothing that really checks it besides Azumarill in that top meta. Jump off to a degree, but not that much. Anyway, I don't have any Claydols or Grumpigs. Ooh. Well, hopefully they'll be in the next season rewards, or the other option is just run a bunch of dark types to beat them. So, yeah. See, so before it started. Hey, if you're ever in the same area I'm at, I'll trade you a Spoink. No problem. If you have one registered that's shiny already, I'll even trade you a shiny Spoink. But, anyway, thank you all for joining, and have a great global Unova Tour weekend. And until next time, I'll catch you all later. Peace.